Alright guys, got the Suzuki jr50 out here today. We're going to do the swap for first gear on this thing. If you look on the cover of these things, it says drive and neutral, and anybody who's ever ridden knows it's one down and then the rest up. So we're going to go ahead and put a second gear in here or a first gear in here or whatever it is, but we're going to go ahead and fix that here in just a second. So we have a first gear and a second gear rather than just one single gear. Very first thing we're going to do is drain oil out of this old girl here, and that is under the bike, and I really hope it's picking up. There's an obscure bolt right there. We're going to go ahead and drain the oil out. And if you look on here, it says 450 mLs. Hopefully that's all that's in here, because I really don't have that big of a bucket. I also don't have a stand, but I do have an S10, so we're using the S10 as a stand today. Let's go and drain the oil out. All right, so it's a 12 millimeter. There we go. I've already got it a little bit loose. I got 2 Tupperwares from leftover takeout food. Hopefully that's enough to hold it. Oh, the problem is that looks fresh too. Dang, that really doesn't look bad at all. That's I'm actually kind of bummed out that I'm about to change it. Dang, oh well. All right, so now we've drained all that out. Let's go ahead and put our bolt back in, and then we're going to start working top side. 12 millimeter, remember 12 millimeter. All right, next thing we're going to do, we're going to take this cover off here. Now this cover it's really easy to take off. You just sort of take this bolt out here. You can take that by hand. It covers, because it's a 2-stroke, it's an oil injected 2-stroke. If I can get this out one-handed, it covers the oil tank, whatever you want to call it. We're going to go ahead and get that off of there so that we can get the oil tank out. Let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and remove these 2 bolts here. Well, 1 nut, 1 bolt that hold my foot peg down. I'm going to try to do it with the brake on. I don't want to take the brakes off. I will if I have to, but I really don't want to. But we're going to go ahead and take these 2 bolts out here. All right, so again, these 2 are 12 millimeter. Really not, the hardest to get to, but still sort of an aggravation. Just 1 nut, 1 bolt to get this foot peg off of here. 12 millimeter, 2 bolts, or 1 nut, 1 bolt. All right, also before we remove the foot pegs on the other side, we got to remove them on this side as well. They are a conjoined unit, as well as the kickstand, which we're going to let down anyways. So we're going to go ahead and pop it off. These are also 12 millimeters. 1 bolt that is right here just under the chain. And then, there's that one. And then the second one is actually a really long bolt, which actually goes to the nut on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and, this one's sort of a 2-handed job. It's a lot easier if you get something underneath it, like your fingers, and slowly twist with the ratchet. All right, as you can see, that bolt is pretty good size. What I like to do is put everything back together. I know that I'm taking it all apart, but put it back together so I know what goes with what. And then we're going to go ahead and get these off. It's probably going to take a little bit of prying, because I have no idea how long these things have been on here for, or even if I have all the bolts off yet. It looks like I do, but man, they don't want to come out. Yeah, there's nothing else holding it on there. There it goes. That's going to be a fun job to put them back on, I can already tell. And they're off. All right, before we lay it over, we're going to go ahead and take this bolt out here, which is hopefully going to release the Kickstarter. It's an 18 millimeter, 18. Be sure you mark where your stuff is. Oh, that's tighter than finger tight. Like I said, it's 18 millimeter. Let's go ahead and get this bolt out. All right, so we did have to take this bolt loose here. It's a 10 millimeter also, so this bolt here. There we go. Now let's give this a, that's definitely loose. That's gonna be a two-handed job. Okay, we wobbled it loose. Now we have almost a bare engine cover. We're gonna go ahead and lay it down, and then go ahead and start taking all these screws out here. All right, so we're pretty laid over. We're gonna go ahead and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts out of this top clutch cover. I keep calling them bolts, they're screws actually. Mine are not bolts. Don't worry about it laying over. I don't have any other fluids in it. The oil that we drained out was the last fluid that I had in it. So I know somebody's gonna say, well, what about all your gas? I understand, you know, you're concerned, but there's no other fluids in here. So let's break all these loose. I'm not sure how old these things are, or if they've ever even been broken loose before. So let's go ahead and get these broke loose here. All right. So now that all of our screws are out, let's tap it with our hammer here. I don't know if you guys has ever seen the memes where they're like, this is a hammer, this is a hammer, that's a hammer, that's a hammer. Well, currently, this is a hammer. All right, so after giving this a whap with an actual hammer this time, rather than my screwdriver, we can take it up. 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna try to take a lot of this clutch assembly out in one go round. So let me, all right, these 3 bolts here are everyone's favorite 10 millimeter. And not on like really tight, but they do have, let me show you here. Ooh, as I throw everything around, springs and a spacer. So I'm hoping that's picking up. They have springs and a spacer, so keep this, you know, together. Put them there like that. Really not a whole ton of force. I have no idea what the specs are on the amount of torque that this is, but she is not going to get the good old, that's not going nowhere. Not going to happen. Mainly so I don't crush something in there. All right, there we go. Here we go. Let's get this third one out of here. And the rest of this should come right on out. All right, so there's that. I'm gonna pull this out. All right, came on out. I think right there will be fine. Pull this out. There we go. Woo! Got a little bearing in there. Be mindful of that bearing because it will actually come out. Let's leave everything in a centralized location to sort of, as I throw it around, sort of keep it from going away. Now we're not doing anything else with this. Maybe I'll just take that out too, just in case. Take that third guy out. Now we're not doing anything else with this. We're gonna leave everything else the same. We're gonna start working on the outer case now. All right, so I went on ahead and undid the screws off camera real quick because it's a lot easier, I thought, and this is why. This is why I hate screws. I wish these were bolts. I hate the fact this is a screw. A healthy one, a not so healthy one. So I'm gonna try to get this out off camera, and then we'll pick it back up. But man, I hate screws. All right, so man, did I get lucky, but I was able to get it loose with a ratchet. So we're going to go ahead and take out all these bolts, or so, I'm sorry, they're not bolts, I wish they were. All these screws. Thankfully this one's sort of at the top. Now they're all sort of different lengths also, so you got to keep up with what's where. I'm going to try my best to sort of take them out sort of where they are. So let's step back and we'll do that. Alright, so now that the cover's off, we're going to lay it down here. I've got all the screws in it. Actually, they all stayed in it. Got my oil reservoir there. All the screws, I was able to get them out. I was worried about the carburetor. I was worried I was going to have to take it off. I did not have to take it off, so that's fortunate. This guy right here, let me change gears into, I think I'm in neutral. Let me put it in gear so you can actually see exactly what it is we're doing. But it's right there. Alright, so we're going to take the spring off here. Give me some pliers. Alright, so we're going to get this spring off. I've already popped the spring loose. I'm going to go ahead and take it the rest of the way off. Sort of put it with our other stuff, and then we're going to slide this sort of up and out of the way. It's going to give us a little bit more room and a better view of what we're actually dealing with here. Let me get a quick picture so that you can see a little better of what we're dealing with now. Looking pretty good. Alright, so you can see I've sort of already started right here. We're going to take our Dremel. Decided to go with a Dremel instead of a drill. We're going to sort of just barely sort of kiss it and try to cut it as best we can. And I know somewhere out there is a transmission man who is screaming at me, telling me don't do that, because I'm getting pieces everywhere. Fully aware, and I'm really hoping to sort of clean that out, you know, before we cause a lot of damage. So we're going to go ahead and Dremel this out, and or rotary tool. I'm sorry, it's a rotary tool, not a Dremel, and clean it up. Alright, I'm not going to lie to you, the sides were pretty easy. It's this guy here that's going to be the issue there. But I cut the sides out, so you know, we got that going on. Now we just got to get this here cut out. And if you can see, there are glitteries everywhere. So I already know some transmission man is just screaming at me right now. Get all that mess out of there. Okay. Alright, well, after doing a job that looks like I did it, cut that pretty good. A combination of drill and rotary tool sort of gives me that. It does go into first or second or whatever gear it's going to be. I'm going to reuse the old gasket. Going to put, you know, the spring and everything else back on. Going to time lapse it. Because really it's, you know, the same steps as it was taking it off, and then after we time lapse it, we're going to fill it full of oil and then see how it does after that. So stay with me. We will time lapse it till it's time to put oil in it. All right, quick intermission of our time lapse. Let's go ahead and put our clutch pieces back together. Be sure our little bearing is still in there. It is. Still looks good. It fits in that little hole there, little spot there, whatever you want to call it. There and there. And then this guy, you gotta sort of get to cooperate with you. So this is a two-handed job. Maybe I might make it wrong here. I am definitely right. I just got to get it to stinking cooperate. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the Earl in it. We're going to go with 1040. I read online that that's the best sort of gear oil for these things. So I'm going to give the old 1040 a try. We're going to do this. And then we're going to fill up all the other fluids and see how we go. All right, so to measure 450 mLs, there is a little gauge on the bottle, sort of right there. I'm going to use that, hopefully get a good idea of half, because the quart is just about 1,000 cc's or 1,000 mLs. So we're gonna, and we need more. I'm gonna try to do about half the quart in here. As I dump it all over the place. I think that was a little more than half. We're going to go with that. All right, let's fill up the rest of the fluids that we drained earlier and get this thing ready to roll. Well, I went to test it out and we have a huge problem. A huge stinking problem. I know it does work. It does go into first, and I was going to show you guys. I did a cold start and did the cold start and
let's do it with the brake.
Crack the case. Now we have a huge hole. I guess I gotta find a new case. That is a big deal. That is a huge deal there.
Let's do it with the brake.
All right, well, anyways, it does go into first. It does work. I'm not going to be able to show you because it's broken. But it does work. All right, hope it helps. Thank you much.